Hey, welcome. So, have you ever really stopped to think about how a company decides what a job is worth? What to pay someone? It's a question that impacts every single one of us. And today, we're going to peel back the layers on the very strategic, very structured process behind it all.
Let's make this personal right away. How is your salary decided? Does it ever feel like a number just kind of pulled out of thin air? Like it's some magic combination of what the market's doing, how well you negotiated, and maybe just a little bit of luck?
Well, the truth is, for most companies, it's anything but arbitrary. It's actually a really carefully designed strategic process. Think about it. They've got to be competitive enough to get great people in the door, but also fair to everyone who already works there, all while making sure that pay actually reflects the value a job brings. It's a tough balancing act.
And that gets us right to the core challenge. How in the world do you put a price tag on a job? It's this constant juggle between being fair, staying competitive, and recognizing value. If you pay too little, you know what happens, you lose your best people. But if you pay too much without a solid reason, you can create a whole lot of internal drama and, hurt the bottom line.
At the heart of this whole thing is a really simple but really powerful idea called internal equity. The main goal is just to build a system where jobs that add similar value to the company get similar rewards. It doesn't matter if that job is in marketing or in engineering or in customer support. That principle of fairness, that's the foundation for everything we're about to talk about.
So, the big question is, how do companies actually build that fair and logical structure? Well, the main tool in their toolkit is something called function evaluation. And you can really think of it as the technical blueprint for the entire compensation strategy. It's the engine room.
Okay, so what is it exactly? Function evaluation is just a system, a process for figuring out the relative value of one job compared to all the other jobs inside the same company. Now, here's the most important part, so listen up. It evaluates the role itself, the responsibilities, the complexity, the impact, not the person currently doing the job. That's absolutely key. This is how you build a pay structure that makes sense from the ground up.
Right, but there isn't just one way to do this. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Companies typically pick from one of four main methods to figure out a job's worth. Each one tackles the same puzzle, just from a slightly different angle.
All right, let's break these down. The first three you see here, ranking, classification, and points, they all focus on the job. The simplest is ranking, which is exactly what it sounds like. A group of people literally just rank jobs from most valuable to the company all the way down to the least. Then you've got classification, which you see a lot in government. Jobs get sorted into these preset pay grades or levels. But the most common one by far is the points method. Here, a job is broken down into different factors, things like skill, effort, responsibility, and gets points for each. And that fourth one, the personal method, it's a little different. It actually focuses on the person and their specific skills and competencies. You see this a lot in really specialized knowledge-based fields.
Okay, so that whole process, that function evaluation, it sets the foundation, right? It helps figure out the base salary. But let's be real, a salary is just one piece of a much, much bigger picture. It's really just the starting point for what we call a total reward strategy.
And this is where a really cool concept comes into play. The employee value proposition, or EVP for short. The easiest way to think about the EVP is that it's the entire deal. It's the company's total promise to you in exchange for your hard work. It's the real answer to that question, so why should I work here?
And that promise, it includes so much more than just cash, right? A real total rewards framework covers everything. Of course, there's base salary and bonuses, but there's also the chance to grow, the people you work with, feeling recognized, and having a good work-life balance. Honestly, things like having amazing colleagues and feeling like your work matters, that's a huge part of the reward.
So here's the bottom line. Getting this right is a massive competitive advantage. When you have a smart, total reward strategy, one that's built on a fair foundation of function evaluation, it becomes this incredibly powerful tool for grabbing the attention of the best people, keeping them fired up, and making sure they stick around for the long haul.
But of course, the world of work never, ever stands still. The strategies that were brilliant yesterday are already being challenged by all these new trends. It's forcing companies to completely rethink what reward even means anymore.
So take a look at this number, 75%. What on earth could that represent in the world of compensation? It's a huge number, and believe me, it points to a really huge challenge on the horizon.
And here it is. A full 3/4 of organizations say they expect managing compensation to get even more challenging in the very near future. The ground is literally shifting under everyone's feet.
So what's causing all this?
Well, it's these big forces of change. You've got AI starting to automate HR processes. There's a huge push to make diversity, equity, and inclusion right into pay decisions. We have this massive new focus on employee well-being. And of course, the rise of the gig economy and freelance workers. Every single one of these is changing the game for how we value work.
And all of this leaves us with one big final question to think about. As our jobs keep changing and our own expectations for work evolve, what will we value most? Is it going to be flexibility? Is it about making an impact, constant learning, or maybe something else we haven't even thought of yet? The answer to that is really going to define the future of rewards for all of us.